What does it mean to win? In so many video game stories, winning means conquering an enemy. To win is to dominate, and all too often, to win is to kill. There's usually some altruistic justification for the killing. You have people to save, and those that would do harm to those people will stop at nothing unless you, the hero of this story, murder them. I'm not satisfied with this justification. Is my hero not kind or creative enough to find another way? And what purpose does my hero have after all these enemies are dead? When video games can offer so much in their stories, we are so often given a glorified hammer in a world full of nails. Thankfully, some games do things different. This is Kena. She is a spirit guide, just as her father was before her, and she is the main character of Kena Bridge of Spirits. We know nothing about her past as the story starts, but from her posture and her gait, you can tell she's on some sort of mission. Alongside Kena, we discover a village, and as we begin exploring, we meet some characters. The playful siblings, Benny and Saya, the village elder Zajiro, and the village hunter Rusu. There's no inciting event of conflict. The game lets you know right away that this story's pacing is as much about the journey as it may be about the destination. What further sets Kena Bridge of Spirits apart from other stories is that every single character you meet in this game is dead. This isn't a twist that you discover at the end of the story. The game makes this reality clear from the very first characters you meet.
Hi there.
Whatever tragedy that transpired here is long over, and there were no survivors. If it wasn't for Kena's connection to the spirits, she would be walking through a silent, empty village. It's an eerie thought, one that only feels emphasized by the beauty of the valley. And as you learn more about what happened to this village, the sadness of the situation only grows deeper. Think about that. There is no one to save in this game. So the story at this point begs the question, what am I doing here? What kind of victory can be had when all has already seemingly been lost? In the process of answering this question, Kena Bridge of Spirits moves the distance from a small and simple game to a story that has a lot to say about holding on and letting go. Death Stranding, a video game from 2019, literally has a holding on and letting go button. Two of them, in fact, one for each hand. The main character, Sam Porter Bridges, can walk up to a package and grab it with either of his hands, depending on whether you pulled the right or the left trigger on the controller. And it's not just a tap of the button. You need to hold on to that trigger for Sam to sustain his grip. If you let go, he lets go. And you'll be doing a lot of this because Sam is a delivery man. I love this mechanic in part because much of Death Stranding's story is about holding on and letting go. Children letting go of their parents. People holding on to their pasts. Parents letting go of their children. Sam also has an allergy to physical touch, and it literally hurts him to be held onto. I'm a big fan of this kind of literal manifestation of metaphors. In gameplay, there are advantages to holding on to things as Sam. It means you can carry more cargo than can fit on your back alone, which means you can deliver more cargo and be a more successful delivery man. But holding on also makes Sam more vulnerable to losing his balance on steep terrain. And crucially, it means he doesn't have free hands for potentially more important things, like climbing a ladder or protecting himself from harm. The game mechanic works neatly as a metaphor, especially when you consider the benefits and the dangers of the things we hold on to, and the things we let go of in our lives. The first vengeful spirit you meet as Kena is Taro. He is the children's beloved older brother, and he is haunted by his failure to protect them from the tragedy that befell the village. For reasons unknown to the villagers, the crops famined, the water fouled, and eventually, the entire village met a sudden and violent end. The children don't blame their older brother for their deaths. They just miss him. Taro! But he does blame himself. There is no saving Taro, or his brothers, but Kena takes it upon herself to help Taro become free from his anguish and shame, so that he might, with his brothers, move on to whatever awaits them in the great beyond. Kena needs to collect Taro's most painful memories so that he can confront and reckon with his feelings of failure. It is a labor. She searches through the dangerous forest, putting herself at risk to collect them. For what it's worth, the game does have combat, but the game doesn't define victory through combat. I admire that Kena's goal here is not to break and defeat, but to mend. The game hints that the dedication she puts into this work has a cost. We don't know exactly what it is, but care does take a toll on her, as it tends to do on us all. The cost of Sam's dedication is a lot more clear. His feet blister and his back bruises. You can even see the welts left by shoulder straps from a particularly heavy load. His exhaustion is obvious when you return him home and he collapses asleep in his bed, or when he opts to sit in the shower rather than stand. I suspect any real delivery person would viscerally empathize with Sam in these moments. And what does he deliver? Food, medicine, building materials, sometimes even corpses. You see, Sam's world has also been struck by catastrophe, and as a result, he is one of the few lines of infrastructure left for the people who remain. He is known as the man who delivers.
Sam Porter Bridges. The man who delivers.
He takes pride in helping people, and he seems to find comfort in his life of solitude and service. Combat is almost completely de-emphasized in this game. In fact, killing enemies has a negative gameplay consequence for the player. And in the story, Sam almost always chooses against killing. It's not revolutionary, but I truly appreciate that in its story and in its gameplay, Death Stranding wants you to know that to deliver and support is far more heroic than to conquer and kill. After you've collected his memories, Taro confronts his failure to protect his brothers. Kena waits for the shame to clear from his eyes, and she reminds him that the love his brothers have for him is all that matters now, and that love is very much still alive.
Even now, it's hard to forgive myself.
Taro, the children know how much you care for them. What happened in the village wasn't your fault. You will always be their older brother, and they still need you.
I love how the vocals in this section sound like a loving mother's nursery rhyme. It's almost like the music itself is trying to comfort the children. As the brothers begin their final journey, the music swells, proudly affirming what the game wants you to understand. This game believes that reconciliation is a triumph, and that peace is the highest form of victory. Thanks for watching.